So hello, this is Sebastiaan from socialanxietysolutions.com, and I'm here with Tom Woodfin, and Tom's going to interview me on something very important and very essential, and yeah, something very good. And so, Tom Woodfin, here he is. Kick it off.
Hello, everybody. Important and essential. Good keywords there.
Yeah.
Like it. Well, okay. So, Seb, I'd like you to introduce yourself then, and if you can tell us a bit about yourself and tell us a bit about the retreat.
Great. I like talking about me. Um, This is also a very informal interview. I sent the questions to Tom that he should ask to me to have a bit of a dialogue. But it's good. Anyway, so yeah, a bit
We
about
can
me.
practice that again.
Right. We've rehearsed this endlessly. So yeah, my name is Sebastiaan van der Schrier, and I'm a former social anxiety disorder sufferer. And it's taken a gazillion years to solve my own social anxiety. And then I started teaching other people how to overcome their social anxiety. And I've been doing that for close to a decade now. And I combine the best of traditional psychology, because some of it is pretty damn good, with a new and exciting field called energy psychology. And as a result of the combination of these two fields applied in the right way, you can actually get amazing results. You can actually solve your social anxiety, so to the point where you have none of it anymore, and you can just have a good time socially, relax, go on adventures, and do a connection retreat. So a little bit more about me. So I've logged about close to probably about 5,000 coaching hours now, solely coaching people with social anxiety, helping them feel calm and relaxed in social situations. There are many testimonials of former clients that I've worked with online. I interview coaches, healers, best-selling authors, psychologists, researchers, psychotherapists on my podcast show for their best social anxiety solutions. And these are people that most of them are traditionally trained, who have incorporated energy psychology into their practice, and they've seen the results of their clients go through the roof. What used to take years to get progress now takes months, or what used to take months now takes weeks. And it's very exciting, where people that were totally stuck now can start getting results. So that's very cool. So that's a bit about me. I'm also the creator of the Social Confidence System, which is an energy psychology and psychology-based program to overcome social anxiety. And I'm running an online community called the Social Confidence Community since 6 months, which is really cool. I'm very excited about. But that's not what this is about. This is about, drum roll, the social, oh no, it's not the social confidence retreat. This is the connection and adventure retreat in paradise. So, real quick as to what it is. Well, that's the name. It's going to be April 18th. There are a few more spots available, and it's super exciting. Why I asked Tom to interview me is because we lived together in Chiang Mai, which is probably like 5 or 6 years ago now. I'm not exactly sure how many years, but yeah, maybe even longer than that. And at the time, I was doing the coaching already, and we were getting into these things. And Chiang Mai is also an interesting place, which is beautiful. And back then we were having chats already about, hey, how cool would it be to put a bunch of healers together, to put a bunch of coaches in one place, and if you have the best of the healing modalities and a group of people who want to go through a transformation, that would be super cool. But at the time we didn't really have the connections, and I was only coaching for a few years at the time. I don't think I would be able to actually do it. But now we've come to the point where that's actually possible. So April 18th, it's going to be me leading the thing, Tom assisting the thing and running at least one of the days. And we're going to have 7 people on the retreat. So it's me and Tom and then 7 of you guys. And what we'll be doing is we'll be doing workshops and adventures. And the focus is, of course, on overcoming your social anxiety and connecting. So connecting in a deep and profound way, connecting with yourself and shedding all the stuff that's in the way of being connected to yourself, and then from that place connecting with others. And it's a very special dynamic because, for one, we'll be staying in a super cool villa, all of us, and we'll be spending our waking hours together. And so there'll be sharing in circles. There'll be workshops where you'll be guided through different kinds of psychology and energy psychology practices. For example, Psyche, logosynthesis, intention-based energy process. And it won't just be techniques that you'll be experiencing, because we have the group dynamics, which makes things very, very interesting, because there are certain things that I cannot do in a one-on-one session. There are also certain things I cannot do over Skype, but I can do those things in a group formation. And it's something very special when you're sitting with a group of people who have the same kinds of issues that you have, and you feel deeply heard, and you're sharing, and there's a special kind of bond and connection that is formed there. And while we're doing that, we'll be helping everyone to shift through their deepest fears, their most deeply held limiting beliefs, and really transform all of the crap from your past, or at least as much as possible from it, so that you can be in the present, and from that place you can connect. And that's just the workshop side of things. We're going to do a bunch of adventures, and when I'm sharing this to other people, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing a retreat. I'm really excited about it. Also because I'm going to do all these adventures that I wanted to do anyway, that I haven't done yet, that are going to be very fun and very cool. And so you'll be prepared for those. So in the morning we might have a workshop, and it's like, all right, this is what we're going to do in the afternoon. For example, we're all going to go to the waterfall, and we're going to hang out at the waterfall, and we're going to swim there, and we're going to be brought there, and then after the waterfall, we're going to go to a sauna, and we have the whole place to ourselves, for example. Well, what fears does that bring up for you? Well, maybe fears of, oh, I'm going to meet strangers, or I'm going to be observed, or I'm going to be made fun of, or what if I don't fit in, or what if I don't have anything to say when we sit around the campfire and sip tea, or all of your stuff is then going to come up, which we're then going to work through, and then we're going to have the experience, and then after we come back to our retreat, our villa, we're going to sit in a circle again, and we're going to talk about, well, what came up for you as that went on? Well, this, that, and the other. Okay. And everyone is then going to share, so your stuff is going to come to the surface, and then we're going to work through it. So we're going to use these energy psychology techniques and whatever group sharing techniques in order to facilitate the releasing of that crap that came up. And so bit by bit, you're freeing yourself, and then it's, all right, how about the next day? Well, the next day we're going to do this. How do you feel about that? Well, scared. Great. Let's work on that. And so it's we have a daily process of having a workshop and having an adventure. And you'll have plenty of recovery and integration time as well. So if we're doing something in the afternoon, then your evening will be mostly free. So what can you do in the evening? So what can you do when you're free? Well, you might go for a swim, because we have a gorgeous swimming pool under the palm trees, which is overlooking the jungle. Like, it's an incredibly nice place. You can hang out. You can read a book. You can spend time with others. You can go to the village. You can do whatever you want. That's up to you. So there will be plenty of relaxation and integration time. And me and Tom will be hanging out there the whole time. So... yeah. Did I miss anything, Tom? Do you have anything to add to that, or?
I was just going to say to clarify then, because it's almost like you're saying we'll bring up the things and the fears, like the apprehension about the thing, and then doing the thing, and then afterwards processing the thing, and it'll be like kind of real time processing.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, I mean, that's like a difficult thing to get in real life. It's not often that you can go into the real world and then have somebody with you to kind of go through that thing and then process it at the same time.
Right.
And it's really like what you're saying about the group dynamic as well. The group energy and the group bond is very different. It's the kind of thing that you can't really get with one-on-one stuff necessarily, especially if it's so specific and people are working on like the same issues, like the same patterns.
Right. And that's also, by the way, why I'm doing this with Tom, you know, aside from the fact he's one of my closest mates, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But Tom's been leading a whole bunch of these retreats and group things and breath work and all of that stuff. So, you know, I did one of my New Year's resolutions was to do a bit more of the hippie stuff here. So, and one of my buddies, Cyrus, he had been saying you should come to this connection. No, you should come to this. Was it conscious communicating and authentic relating workshop? I'm like, all right, fine. You know, I'll go there. So I'll drag myself there. You know, it was a good time, and just like sitting in a circle and having people share. So, you know, one of the first exercises was, okay, you sit in a circle and you say your name and the 3 emotions that you're experiencing. Super simple, basic exercise. So people are like, all right, so my name is Sebastiaan, and I feel a bit unsettled today, and I also feel relaxed, and I'm curious, for example. And then afterwards, we were sharing about how it felt to bring up those 3 emotions. Like, how did it feel to share your name and those 3 things? So we talk about the feelings that we had come up, right? So it's kind of like meta talking about your feelings. And you know, I felt fine doing that, but there were other people as well that said, well, when that happened for me, I felt uncomfortable, but as I'm now sharing my that was uncomfortable for me, saying my name and those 3 emotions, now I feel more comfortable about it, and I feel more accepted, and I've shared my experience. That's just like a small, tiny example of what you can do in group dynamics. There is tons of more stuff. But, you know, I think you brought up a very good point. It's very difficult when you're by yourself or you're at home to go face your fears and get feedback on it, and
be supported in it, like as it happens.
Right, exactly. That's totally different. And it's also going to bring stuff to the surface which you might not have known that was there. And it's going to be, you know, I say facing your fears. Yes, you're facing your fears, but you're not forcefully facing your fears. We're dealing with the stuff that makes the fears this big ahead of time, so that the fear is only this big. And you can, yes, you go a bit outside your comfort zone, but not to the point that you can't handle it and overwhelms you and you have an anxiety attack. So you just go a little bit outside of it, where, yes, it's a bit uncomfortable, but you can handle it. And from that place, big growth happens quickly. And then, you know, the group dynamic as well, and the support, and seeing that other people are going through the same stuff that you're going through, is going to be you know, tremendously liberating, and it will be a very compassionate environment that you find yourself in for a whole week. And that's just going to do stuff for your inner world like you wouldn't believe it. So, yeah, right. It's like the way you're describing it. It's like equal measures of challenge and support. So a little bit of challenge, a little bit of support, and like the group holding each other in that and being able to support each other to integrate the things that come up. And I think it's a really important point that you brought up there. Is like you kind of do need to go outside your comfort zone to grow, but you can't go too far out, otherwise it takes you out, you know. So you need that kind of support there just to be able to push you and grow you and build confidence, build character, which I think is really the key to what you're talking about here. Yeah, absolutely. And there's also, like, being on something like this, you can't hide, and you also don't want to hide, right?
Yeah.
And when you're going at something yourself, your subconscious will your subconscious will resist. My God, speak English. Your subconscious resistance will try to sabotage you, and you have these procrastination behaviors, and you know, you don't feel like it, and you're tired. Like, this is 7 days where you're going to go through a massive transformation, and there's the dynamic of the group that pulls you with the group. you have the group dynamic, so it's inevitable that that transformation is going to happen. That's what I mean when you can't hide from it. It's going to happen. So
Yeah.
I think that's very exciting as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's exciting. I'm excited.
Good. Let me move inside.
Okay. So, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't agree with some of this stuff. Maybe I'm having doubts. What kind of doubts?
Yeah. Might you have? Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Why
might I be doubtful about this?
Yeah.
It doesn't. There's some things that I'm still unsure about. So why don't you fill me in?
Yeah. Hey, you're speaking for the. I've got a whispering. You got to shut up where I'm walking. Oops. I'm just walking so much. Let me see. Oh, can you believe it? All right. I found some space.
Are we going to do this bit again?
Yeah. No. We're going to just keep rolling. So I'm walking through the office and you're not supposed to talk there. So that's why I was whispering a bit. I have all these people looking at me foul. But yeah. All right. So here we go. Yeah. So you're speaking for people watching this or listening to this, right? So what doubts might they have? Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Well, I've listed them actually. Here they are. So I think people might have 6 doubts, and I'll quickly go over them. So the first one is people think, yeah, it's not worth it because I can't change anyway. So I'm going to debunk these doubts, hopefully. At least I'm going to do my best. All right. So it's very common for people to think, oh, I'm the toughest case ever because I've tried everything. You haven't. But I've tried a lot of things and they haven't worked for me. So there must be something wrong with me. Okay, so that's a common experience for people. But yes, you've tried things, but you haven't tried everything. And you haven't tried to apply a whole bunch of things. So maybe you've tried facing your fears. Maybe you've tried meditating. Maybe you've tried tapping. Maybe you've tried logosynthesis. Maybe you tried all these various techniques. But they are just techniques. There's a difference in applying techniques in the right way. Maybe you've applied them in the right way, but you haven't applied them consistently over a period of time. Maybe there's the human touch that you need, or maybe there's basically there's a variety of things that can be in the way of why you haven't transformed yet. And if you're dealing with social anxiety alone, because I can only speak for social anxiety, because some people have social anxiety plus severe depression, or social anxiety plus multiple personality disorder, or social anxiety plus something else. I cannot speak for that something else because that's what I'm not specialized in. But if you have social anxiety alone, I'm 100% convinced that you can shift that completely. All right? So even if you believe that you're a tough case thinking comes from, I try things and I fail. Now I get evidence that it doesn't work. I try another thing and I had to muster up a lot of courage to get myself to do another thing, and again it fails. Now I get more evidence that things just won't work for me. Try another thing, and now I'm starting to become skeptical because my brain is trying to protect me from trying new things, because every time I try something, it fails on me and I feel even worse than before, and I get the confirmation that everything sucks and nothing works for me and I'm just a broken person, and so on. You're not a broken person. If you just have social anxiety, and by the way, if you have something else than social anxiety, there are other people that can help you with that as well. Let me be clear. It's just not me, right? And so, man, I was going to land the plane on this, and I was. I'm doing it now anyway. So, social anxiety is the result of your brain perceiving a threat. Your brain is seeing danger in a social situation, or your brain is perceiving that it's not safe to be you. All right? That's learned. That's a learned pattern in your brain. It's just programming. That programming is not permanent. That programming can be changed. So, for example, if you believe if you perceive danger in a social situation and you don't feel safe to be yourself, that is because you're perceiving a threat, and that threat is a result of beliefs that you're having. So, for example, I'm not good enough, I have to be perfect to be accepted, there's something wrong with me, people don't like me, and I have to get everyone's approval. For example, just some random common beliefs. When you're having these beliefs, it doesn't allow you to be yourself. And these beliefs, all they are is just thoughts you've been thinking over and over, and they feel true to you. And why do they feel true to you? Because you have emotional evidence to back up these beliefs. So for example, let's take one of them. I'm not good enough. All right, you've learned somewhere that you're not good enough. Maybe your dad was very critical, or your parents had high expectations on you, or they were perfectionistic, or you had an alcoholic father, or whatever. Somehow, because you were criticized all the time, your brain picked up, okay, what is going on here? I'm being criticized all the time. What's the conclusion? I must not be good enough. All right, so those are emotional reference experiences that back up that belief that you're indeed not good enough. And maybe, you were 12 and you asked this girl out and you got rejected, and you got another piece of evidence that you're indeed not good enough. Now the emotions, yeah, exactly, same here. Although, and I could say multiple ages for that. Anyway, so then you have these beliefs, and these reference experiences are the evidence that hold up these beliefs. What we can do is we can go to these reference experiences, whatever they are. Sometimes you're already conscious of them, sometimes you're not, and we can shift that around, we can move that around, and we can release and process the old stuck emotions from back then, so that you're no longer reliving the past, but you actually get into the present. So your 34-year-old self, or your 46-year-old self, or your 23-year-old self, instead of reliving the feelings from when you were 12 and you got rejected, or when you were 5 and your dad was constantly criticizing you, and so on. And in that way, you systematically, step by step, chip away at these beliefs. Once these beliefs are no longer there, you're no longer filtering the world through these unhelpful ways of seeing. And as a result, when your brain doesn't see danger, it doesn't have to alarm your brain that there's danger, and you don't feel anxiety anymore. And that's where you're calm and relaxed. So that's for you, that's for me, that's for everyone. Okay, so you can definitely overcome it. All right, I'll run through the other ones much quicker. All right, so what other concerns that you might have when you think about coming? Number 2, I'm afraid to face my fears, or I'm afraid to face my demons. Right? I'm afraid to look at my inner world. All right. What I want to say to you is this: you're already dealing with that. You're going through that often. When you're having a bad day, you're facing your demons. When you're thinking about this social situation, and you don't want to go, and you feel this fear, you're dealing with it. You're already dealing with it. You're being tortured by it. And so what we're doing on the retreat is we're bringing them up, but we're bringing them up in a safe environment, not to the point where you're going to get overwhelmed. There's going to be a ton of laughter. There's going to be a very light and playful attitude around these issues. So you're gonna come to a place, or at least that's the intention, where you're able to see that your issues are just your issues, and you're separate from them. You have them, but it isn't you. It doesn't define you. And you'll be able to see, okay, I'm just reliving this old stuff. I'm just repeating these patterns, but I'm not these patterns. You're going to feel a lot more compassionate towards yourself, and you're going to get a totally different relationship with the anxiety, for whatever might be left of it, and your own issues. And yes, it will be scary. Yes, you'll experience negative emotions. Yes, there will be uncomfortable moments, and it's all okay. We're going to create a different relationship with these feelings, because then you don't have to run away from feelings anymore. When you actually say yes to the emotions, and you use these processing techniques as you're saying yes to them, you're allowing your feelings to be, and you're becoming more whole. So you're becoming a more wholesome, integrated being. And that is tremendously relieving. Like, you wouldn't believe it. That's when you actually feel liberated, when you don't have to run away from feelings anymore. So that's a lot of what we'll be doing, accepting our feelings, accepting ourselves, and coming to terms with what's going on in our inner world, and being able to say yes to reality, and having a feeling that I can handle whatever life throws at me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, it's like, I think the alternative of not looking at the fears is like, it's way worse. There's this expression that regret is way worse than discipline or something like that, where, and you think about it, I think people often don't let themselves see how deeply sticking with these kind of beliefs and ideologies is really going to affect them. So it's like the alternative of not looking at them is worse than the alternative of looking at them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, man, I'm so relieved that I'm not living in my own mind anymore of like 10, 15 years ago. That was absolute pure torture. And the way I saw it at the time, when I realized there was a solution, I'm like, I have no other option than to go for that solution. You know, people say, oh, you're so persistent. Yeah, because it sucked so much to be there, and I found something that worked. Why the hell would I not be doing it? You know, I was just in so much pain. Like, life was ridiculous. I'd wake up and I'd be scared the whole day, anticipating all the potential disasters that were going to happen that day, being that afraid of it, not being able to escape from it. My little escape, you know, was sometimes being drunk, or in the beginning when I wasn't getting panic attacks while smoking weed yet, being stoned. But for the rest of the time, I was just at war with myself, fearing that I was going to blush, fearing that I was going to be criticized, fearing that something would get triggered in a social situation, I wouldn't be able to control myself, worrying that people wouldn't like me, being put down, feeling bad about myself after social situations. It's like a constant torture that consumed my thinking, my feeling, my behaving, my whole life. You know, not even to mention like how much it limited my potential. Because I'm like, I have a lot of potential, but how can I ever live my potential if I'm afraid to feel certain feelings? And you know, there are places that I can't go to. This I have to avoid. That I have to avoid, because I just can't bring myself to go to these places, because I know that it's going to suck. I'm going to be super anxious. I'm going to be uncomfortable. I feel insecure. I feel less than them. And yeah, it's you know, it was a bad time. So, you know, having the opportunity to release that is just amazing. So yeah, so it's a good thing. That's the conclusion. All right, 3. It will be awkward. You know, the concerns of people. It will be awkward. Well, here's my answer. Yes, it will be, but but it won't be
awkwardness.
Yes,
A lifetime of social anxiety.
right, and it won't be awkward the whole time. And this is a little bit of a repeat of what I said earlier. You're going to create a different relationship with your feelings. And awkward is a normal experience of people. You know, everyone feels awkward sometimes. And it's how you deal with these feelings and the mindset that you have around it that determines how you handle upcoming awkward situations. You know, it's yet another thing. If awkward is such a problem for you, then you have to avoid that. And when you're okay with awkward, then, you know, whether you're okay with it or not, awkward is going to happen in your life, right? And when you're all right with awkward, that's a very liberating feeling. And so, yes, we will have awkward moments, and in fact, I'm going to bring up awkward moments on purpose to bring up your emotions around that and to bring up your beliefs about that. And then we tap through them, or we do logosynthesis through them, or we laugh through them, or we do connection exercises through that, so that in the future when awkwardness comes up, or rather when an awkward situation comes up, you can deal with it, or you can even laugh with it or play with it. And that's when life becomes a lot more fun. And then you can also be a lot more spontaneous, and you don't have to be so rigid, and everything has to be in control all the time. You know? So 4, here we go. I won't fit in, the group won't like or accept me, and I'll end up alone. Yeah, that is not going to happen. And that kind of thinking is your social anxiety doing the talking, right? So not fitting in and feeling that you won't belong that is a common experience from someone who feels anxious connecting? Well, each and every one of us, well, I mean, each and every one on the retreat is going to have that experience. It's only going to be for people with social anxiety, right? So everyone has the same feelings. Everyone has, or at least very similar feelings and experiences. And so you'll be able to relate to these kinds of feelings. And that will bring up a bonding. That's one thing. Secondly, we're going to have like 7 days of going through workshops together, breath work together, healing together. You will observe people making transformations. You will be making transformations. I'll be working with people in front of the group. Everyone will be tapping along. We'll be going out to have different experiences together. Like you're gonna experience a connection with people at the end of these 7 days that you've probably never felt before. And I'm curious to see how I'm gonna feel as well, because I don't think I've spent that intense a time with 9 people ever. So I'm very excited about that as well. So you're definitely not going to be left out, and we'll make damn sure that you're as included as the rest is. It's a very intimate setting, just 9 people. So yeah, that's going to be really cool. At any point, if you have anything to add, Tom, just blurt it out.
All right. Oh, well.
Okay. 5. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to prompt you for the next part.
Man, it's such an awkward moment. How are we going to deal with this now? All right. Excuse me. Okay, so number 5. I'm scared to travel alone. Yes. All right. I can understand that. Not everyone has traveled by themselves. And this was actually brought to my attention by friends. Like, well, some people might be scared to travel alone. I'm like, oh, yeah, right. I didn't really think about that. I don't know much to say about that other than it's very simple to book a ticket. It's kayak.com. It compares all the flights of different flights. You can pick your time. If you're one of the people that's actually going to come to the retreat, I'll tell you the right times to fly so that you can minimize your jet lag. You'll have... It's very simple. You show up at the airport, you're there on time, you get your ticket, you get your seat. It's like it's
you might
easy.
survive. Like,
yeah.
You might make
I mean,
with any luck, you might actually make it to the retreat.
Yeah,
great.
I mean, it is really simple. And then once you arrive in Bali, my friend comes to pick you up. He'll have a big smile. He'll be like, "Hey, welcome." You'll be driven to your hotel or whatever where you stay for the first 2 days to acclimatize before the actual retreat happens, and then the retreat happens. And I forgot. No, I didn't forget. Okay, so that's 5. I don't know what else to say about this. It's all right. It's not the end of the world to fly. All right, you watch some movies. I like it these days. Not the super long ones, but hey. Okay. And number 6, so why else might you not come? Well, it's outside my comfort zone. Yes. You know what? It is, and it is scary, and it is uncomfortable. But, this is where change is going to happen. And this is where profound transformation is going to happen. Think about, all right, what if I don't take any action, and I keep living the way I'm living? What's your life going to look like in a year from now, or 5 years from now, or 10 years from now? Right? Now, turn it around. What is your life going to be like if you actually take this action and you're going to make this transformation? That's, by the way, going to last you a lifetime. How are things going to be different if you tell yourself, okay, this is going to be uncomfortable, but I'm going to get the benefits from it, Rather than focusing on the discomfort, focus on the benefit that you're going to get from that. And some people do, and some people don't. It's up to you. There's also not much I can say about that. What about you, Tom? You have anything?
Yeah, I think it kind of applies to 5 as well. It's like, yeah, you're going to go through some discomfort. And, well, fair enough, because that's what life is, more or less. There's plenty of discomfort, and then
Yeah.
you heal things up again. And I just think that, well, getting on a flight is can be uncomfortable, and it's like, yeah, right, well, sure. So is social anxiety, so
Right.
is living in fear in your little kind of cave of like speaking to people and interacting. So it's almost like the comfort challenge can start with something like getting on a plane, and then from there it's like, okay, well, maybe the first thing we can do is start to figure out all the stuff that happened when you were on the journey that came up for you. And it's like, right, well, there's a good entry point. That's a good way to get involved and get stuck into the thing that we're doing. And yeah,
Right.
it's almost like those pain points are where the transformation occurs. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing if you can trigger yourself and then be held in that.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable. You
Right.
kind of alluded to that in what you said earlier. Being able to hold uncomfortable emotions and still be able to function. Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. All right. So those were the 6 reasons.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, it's obvious that you will have doubts. You have doubts about everything. And I think that's just it's a natural proclivity. Every time there's some kind of change that people want to go through, it's like, should I be doing this? Should I be doing this? And it's like, yeah, well, that's always going to be the case. Maybe that you're going to have parts of your brain that are not going to want to change, that are going to kind of put in subconscious resistance as to why I shouldn't do this, why I should stay in this stable, safe state of where I am. But it's like you don't let yourself see how insidious that stability and safeness can be. It's like I'm safe with my identity as a social anxiety sufferer, but that's not really safe. It's like if you really let yourself see how painful that is and like avoid all the numbing things that you might be doing to avoid it, it's like that's not safe at all. It doesn't end well. So I'd say it's much more courageous, but it's just so much better to get on it and get at it and do something that's going to create some shifts and transformations.
Yeah.
But, why do you believe it's a great idea for somebody to say, yes, we're going for this? That's what I would say for myself. But what's your take on it?
Yeah. Well, first of all, like as you're going through things outside your comfort zone, you're becoming more resilient and you're growing your comfort zone. And you're becoming more comfortable with more things, and then your life expands. And, that's just something that you'll take everywhere in your life. Your career, your relationships, how you feel on a day-to-day basis, all of it. So, this is going far beyond the realm of just, getting rid of your social anxiety. I'm sorry I'm so distracted, but I'm trying to see where I can plug in, because this is turning into a little bit of a mini disaster. Because if I can't plug in, we've got about 7% left. Oh, wait. Let's see if this works. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Keep talking. Okay, so yes. Okay, love that sound.
Any
Okay.
anxiety in that? Was that all right?
Right. So, why am I excited about this? Well, first of all, I wrote a little list as to what I think the benefits are of a retreat like this. And it's not a conclusive list, but just, this is from me quickly writing something down. All right, I'll just go over it rapid fire, and then I'll just, say why I'm so excited. Okay, so first of all, this is a retreat that is specifically optimized to overcome social anxiety. Like, there's nothing of this anywhere in the world. I mean, there is actually something somewhat similar, but that's a CBT one. And, when I read about it, I'm like, God, cringing at the thought of it. And this is very different. I'm like, when I first read about that a couple of years ago, I'm like, man, there must be a more fun and adventurous way to do this. And, and have more excitement and fun. Anyway, so that's this. I think this is the fastest way to overcome your social anxiety. I spoke to Dr. David Lake, my mentor, about this, and he said, "We've done this before, Seb. This is very, I'm very encouraging. I really encourage this kind of retreat because we've done this before, him and Steve." And he said, I would see people transform after a day more profoundly than they would do on these 3-day workshops. And we've been to these 3-day workshops, and would you say they're transformational?
Yeah, they're pretty great.
Fair bit.
I really like
it. Yeah. Anyway,
I always wanted to go for longer. I always wanted them to stay
exactly.
3 days.
Exactly. So that's that. The fastest way to overcome social anxiety. Why? Well, you're letting go of your normal environment. You're letting go of your familiar ways of thinking, feeling, and behaving. And we can do things that you cannot do in a one-on-one setting. You'll get my and Tom's undivided attention over a period of time. So this is not a 90-minute coaching session. This is like a 7-day intensive, so we can spot your habitually unhelpful patterns and beliefs and shift them. Yeah. And trust me, it will be very obvious what's going on, because we've been doing this for a long time, and when I can spot it over Skype for people, let alone if I see someone for a period of time. I can pick up, okay, so you've got people pleasing. All right, you have trouble saying no. Okay, this is going on for you. That's going on for you. And so your biggest things, your biggest problems will be out in the open, very obvious. And it can sound very scary and intimidating, but you're not going to be judged for that. Rather, you're going to be accepted regardless, and we're going to take that problem and shift it and let go of it so that doesn't bother you anymore. All right. Well, another thing, build connection with like-minded people and potentially create lifelong bonds. Like I said before, you're going to be 7 days intensive, all sorts of adventures in paradise. April's going to be super sunny as well. Very cool. You'll be able to go much deeper than anything else I can imagine. There will be the group dynamics. You'll be held accountable and really move through your challenges for real. You'll notice others having the same irrational fears and beliefs and see others transform. You'll be deeply heard in these sharing circles. You'll have the adventure of a lifetime, as will we. You'll get to connect with 8 kind and considerate strangers on a profound level. So I'm handpicking all the people. Not everyone can come to this retreat, and I'm interviewing the people that apply. And so I'm making a group that I think is going to create a really nice dynamic, and that are also going to make the biggest changes. And so I'll make sure that everyone is nice and considerate. So you'll be spending time with, making friends with, and creating accountability partners with a team of the most committed individuals that there are. Because to come to Bali, to fly over here, to be in a retreat like that, these are committed people. So you become part of a special and intimate group, and we'll be a team together to get this challenge out of the way for an extended period of time. And we'll have our own private Facebook group after, just the 9 of us. So, I get to observe you like a hawk, and I'll see your limiting beliefs and patterns that are holding you back the most, and we will shift them, for sure. Now, you also get to do exposures in a gentle, fun, playful, and adventurous way. You get to unlock your true, playful, fun self and be engulfed and immersed in an energy of ease and flow for a week long. I don't know why I'm losing my voice, but you'll be surrounded by people that also resonate with this kind of message of social ease, of playfulness, of having a good time. And in the initial email that I wrote to people on my email list, Tom, I told them about when we're in Tacloban and we're hanging out with Steve and David, right? And how it was being in their energy, right?
Steve being Steve Wells, Dr. David Lake's
right.
work.
Yeah, exactly. Psychologist, colleague, and they just have a very light, playful, joking kind of energy about them, and I think that it definitely impacted and inspired and affected us. I think we were always joking around before that, but it definitely, did more just being in their presence. Wouldn't you say so?
Brought different kind of energy to, because like usually people get into healing and it's a very kind of serious, deep thing, and it is, because there's plenty of tragic things going on in the world, but their ability to go into the tragedy with this kind of lightheartedness, but yet depth at the same time was really something that touched me a lot and kind of resonated with me a lot. And I really, I appreciate it. It's like there seemed to be just an acceptance of
everything,
of all things, and the ability to make light of them.
Yeah.
And so that was something that really inspired me.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, that's the vibe that we're gonna bring to the retreat to the best of our ability. Like, we're not Stephen David, but we're gonna provide a very good time. So there you go. And it's a transformation that lasts a lifetime. Now, to round things off, like, why do I believe it's a great idea for someone to say yes to this? Because of the yes, the retreat's going to be super cool. Yes, you're going to stay in an amazing place. Yes, it's going to be an adventure of a lifetime. Yes, we're going to do all these cool things together. Yes, you'll be heard, seen, blah, blah, blah. All of that is going to be super cool. But ultimately, it's about the end goal. And the end goal is social ease. That's what you're doing this for. Now, I can't guarantee that you'll be socially confident forevermore and you'll never have social anxiety ever again. But you're moving towards that, and you're going to make the biggest progress that you can possibly make in those 7 days. And social ease, that's what I've been doing this for myself for, and this is also why I'm doing the work that I do to help others get to this place, because it's just such a good time to I now wake up and I have nothing that I'm afraid of socially. And it doesn't even cross my mind to consider that I would be afraid of something, because there's nothing I have to hide, and I can just be free. And I can speak my mind, I can joke around with people, I can step on people's toes and apologize. Like, it's just a freedom of being that opens everything up. A couple of months ago, I was like, man, I'm really getting into, 8 months ago, I'm like, wow, I want to get into salsa. And I'm like, okay, I get into salsa, and I'm having a playful and a fun attitude. Did some fears come up for me? Yeah. Did some discomfort come up for me? Oh, definitely. But I knew I can handle whatever comes my way, and the things that will come up for me, these are healing opportunities where I can grow more. So, for example, in the beginning, I'm stumbling about on the dance floor, and, I see next to me all these amazing dancers, and I ask a girl to dance, and I know she doesn't actually want to dance with me. This is a pity dance, right? Right, yeah, and you'll have to suck that up. And, I'd make mistakes on the dance floor. Everyone's watching you. You look like a dumbass. I'm like, all right, I thought I was totally comfortable with that. Apparently, in this scenario, I'm not. Okay, great. Let's do some work there. And so there's a tremendous freedom in that. A couple of months ago, I'm like, man, I want to learn from the people that have been dancing from the moment they're born. And I've been wanting to go to Colombia anyway. And while I don't speak the language, I'm like, let's hop on a plane. I'm going to go to Colombia, and I'm going to go there by myself, and let's, start dancing salsa there. And I'm going out in Colombia, going to these dancing clubs, asking these girls to dance. And, as I'm there on the dance floor, I'm like, my freedom is amazing. It is so liberating to just be able to be yourself and have a good time, because you can just think, oh, I want to go and do that. All right, go do that. Why not? I enjoy the friends that I have. I enjoy the community that I'm part of. Things just start working when you're comfortable with yourself. And anything that gets you closer to that is so worth your money, time, effort, energy, moving past your comfort zone, and so on. So, Tom, what are you about to do with this? What have you recently bought, and what are you going to do?
Well, yeah. Well, I'll touch on quickly what you were saying there, because I bet you couldn't have imagined doing anything like that when you had social anxiety before.
Yeah,
and
totally not.
Like in solving that, or resolving that, or integrating it, or kind of bringing it in. It seems like that's been the foundation for you to build on and do all kinds of other things. Just getting that confidence right to, like, okay, well, I can say yes to life. I can go and do this thing that I've wanted to do, but I've felt like I didn't really have, well, the balls to do it or something like that. It's like I just felt too afraid. I didn't feel like I could even get out of the starting gates because, well, there's people out there and people are terrible and I have to talk to them and, you know, that's going to be horrible for me. So I think it sounds like that, just that building on that base social confidence level has really enabled you to go out and live a completely different life, and like the kind of life that you're living on your terms. And that's like, that's a big deal. You know, I think if you're going to live your life, you might as well live it on your terms.
Yeah.
Well, for myself, well, there's obviously all kinds of adventures that I've been on, but like I suffered like serious social anxiety when I first went to Australia, and it was like this sense of, well, suddenly 10,000 miles away from anybody who cares about me. And all of this kind of built up anxiety that I'd been avoiding through drinking suddenly just exploded onto the sea. It was like, wow, I feel, every time I talk to people, I feel like I'm shaking, I'm nervous, and I have like a red face, and I'm sweating, and all of this, all these terrible things that don't really give you more confidence in that kind of situation.
Right.
But yeah, since then, I mean, you helped me a hell of a lot on the journey. When I met you in, whenever it was, 2009, I think it's like 10 years now. So yeah, that helped with a hell of a lot to integrate all of these experiences. And yeah, recently I'm pursuing one of my longer term dreams of buying a van and converting it into a camper and then going traveling with that around Europe. So I'm really excited to do that, but it's almost like I couldn't have done that without this kind of sense of, or like a grow, because I'm not done yet, but this growing sense of ability or self-confidence of like, actually, maybe I could do this, you know, maybe I could put myself out there, and yeah, it's a risk, but I've faced risks before, and you know, there could be all kinds of places where I make mistakes and fail, and well, sure, that's probably going to happen, but it's almost like that's fine. I'll fail forward, you know. I'll keep doing it because I feel like I have the innate ability to actually handle the challenges that get thrown up, and that's something that is just invaluable. And I don't think I could have ever got to that stage without all of this. Well, certainly a lot of the stuff that you taught me, but like the psychology and the well, obviously for me the breath work has been huge, but yeah, all of these things have really helped to like take me apart in the ways that I needed to be taken apart and put me back together again. And that's still a journey. I mean, that's still a journey, but that comes about from taking on experiences that are just a little bit outside of my comfort zone. So something like this retreat would be that for a lot of people. It's like, here's something that's a bit outside of my comfort zone, and in taking this on, there's going to be some growth involved in that. And in that growth is that sense of kind of meaning of life, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we've cracked the secret there, it seems like that. It's like, I'm taking responsibility for myself. I'm taking responsibility for my own growth, and I'm going to step into that challenge. And well, that's something meaningful. And you know, what could be more meaningful than that? I don't really know, but yeah, that's what it seems like to me, and that's how it's affected me.
Yeah, accepting your feelings, self-acceptance, and trusting yourself to the point where you feel confident that you can handle whatever comes your way. There's a massive liberation within that, and from that place you can connect with others. And then, should I say it? Then the world is your oyster. Okay.
Well, you did say it, so it's fine.
All right, let's be serious about this. All right, but I mean, I think we've landed the plane on that, didn't we?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Like,
me too.
It's really like honestly, for myself, I do a fair bit of group work, but it's just a privilege to spend time with people who are like genuinely interested in bettering themselves. Like, they're genuinely interested in looking at the parts of themselves, and they want to get to the truth of the matter and the truth of themselves, and they want to live out who they're here to be. And it's like, man, it's really, I just feel really fortunate to be able to be around that kind of energy. And so I think it's great. Like, I'm really excited and impressed that people are willing to kind of do this thing, because for me it's such a testament to the human spirit. If I'm going to go off on my own little cheesy cliche deep thing, what a testament to the human spirit that you're willing to do. But honestly, I do believe that.
Yeah,
And it's really,
I'm with you.
I mean, it's very special. So
yeah. And observing transformation is just very cool. It's just very cool.
Such a privilege, hey?
Yeah. All right. So, conclusion, come to the retreat. So, ask me the last question, Tom.
That's the call for action. So, all right. So, say you've got me on this one. I want to sign up for the retreat. Where should I go to right now? How can I manifest this into a reality? Right.
So, you do that by going to, yes, that's it. So, bit.ly/retreat. No. Oh, we're messing this one up, aren't we? bit.
Probably put a link underneath the description.
Yeah, but I'm also doing this on the podcast. So bit.ly/adventure retreat yes. Okay, so those 3 words in a row. No, adventure retreat yes. I mean, that's pretty obvious. So what happens when you go there? You fill in a little form that gets to me, and I get back to you within 24 to 48 hours, and we'll set up a little Skype chat, and we'll get going. All right, Tom, thank you very much. It was a good time.
Yeah, well, thank you. I look forward to seeing you in April.
Exactly, April 18th, maybe. That's when it's going down. All right. All right.
Good stuff.
Signing off.
Cheers, Seb.
Yeah, cheers. Bye.